Welcome. Today we're stepping into the shadows a bit. Going somewhere the familiar can become, well, frightening. And the everyday can twist into something else entirely. A nightmare, even. We're not really here today to dissect theories or, debate facts. Instead, we want to share some genuinely unsettling stories with you. These are real accounts. They kind of peel back that veneer of safety we all feel sometimes, and they expose the chilling, unexpected horrors that might just be lurking around the corner. These aren't fiction, not made-up tales. They're moments drawn from ordinary people's lives, shared to give us a raw, suspenseful, and sometimes, terrifying glimpse into the unknown. We'll guide you through them.
It really is astonishing how these real-life narratives, they often just strip away our sense of security. They reveal a profound vulnerability, even in places we think are safest, like our own homes. And they highlight the lasting, chilling impact these encounters have on the people who live through them, long after the danger seems gone.
Okay, let's start. Our first story takes us back a few years. A really chilling encounter we're calling The Woman in the Window. This happened to a 15-year-old and their best friend. They'd just watched some scary movies, and they were looking for a little bit of real-life excitement afterwards. Not far from the friend's house, there was this demolition site. A whole block of abandoned houses. Fenced off, warning signs everywhere, all set to be torn down the very next day. Every door, every window boarded up tight. Well, that's what they thought. But they knew a way onto the block, and up on the top floor of one house, they spotted it. One window wasn't properly sealed. You could actually peer inside. So what do curious teenagers do? They took a photo, digital camera, right through that window. Didn't see anything unusual at the time, nothing at all. They headed home, started looking through their pictures, eager to see what they captured, and that's when they found it. The photo of that specific window. And here's where it just gets deeply unsettling, clearly visible in the picture. Through that window, they thought was empty, was a woman. Dressed in a brown raincoat, her skin stark white, long black hair just hanging down, and her expression just profoundly, intensely sad. They hadn't seen anyone. They knew those houses were supposed to be empty, secured.
That photographic evidence, it's incredibly eerie, isn't it? I mean, to capture such a clear image of someone who wasn't physically seen when the photo was taken, it really makes you question perception versus, well, what might actually be there unseen.
Absolutely. So, driven by this mix of fear and, frankly, disbelief, they went back to the site. They checked thoroughly. And just like they remembered, every single window, every door sealed shut tight. No sign of any woman, no way for anyone to have been inside. To this day, that image, that sad face peering out of a vacant window, is just completely unexplained. Okay, our next story is, well, it's profoundly disturbing. An account of obsession and terror. We'll call it Ayano, the obsessive stalker. It's happened to a friend of mine. Let's call him Rita. He was only 11 or 12 at the time. Rita was, an appealing kid, had a share of admirers. But this one girl, a 17-year-old acquaintance from Japan named Ayano, she developed this extreme, really unsettling crush. Rita hadn't thought much about her until Ayano started stalking him, relentlessly, day and night, in person, online, everywhere. The escalation was slow at first, maybe seemed harmless, then it got terrifying. Ayano started sending over 20 messages a day, things like, be safe, sleep well. Sounded okay initially.
Innocuous on the surface.
Exactly. Rita kind of overlooked them at first, but then the messages became disturbingly personal, like, you should eat your lunch if Rita had skipped a meal at school that day, or even creepier, I think your sister is hungry, right when his little sister was crying in their own home. At that point, Rita felt so invaded, so watched, he just stopped using his phone, stopped all social media, trying to cut her off.
That level of surveillance, especially for someone so young, is just such a deep invasion. The psychological impact, knowing someone is seemingly watching your every move, even inside your house, it destroys that sense of safety.
It's a complete nightmare. And it didn't stop there. Rita's mother traveled a lot for work, so he often had babysitters. One day, a new babysitter shows up. Guess who? It was Ayano. At first, nothing too overtly strange happened, but Ayano got really close to Rita's mom. Too close for his comfort. Then, one day at school, Ayano approaches Rita, tells him his mother's going out of the country for a week, and that his mom wants him to stay at Ayano's house while she's gone. Rita was hesitant, obviously, but he thought it was his mother's wish, so, reluctantly, he agreed. Ayano confirmed his mom had already left, so Rita went home with her after school. When they got there, Ayano's parents were nowhere in sight. What happened next gets a bit blurry for Rita. He still chokes up talking about it. He said Ayano would play these weird games with him, like Family, where she insisted she was the wife and he had to be the husband.
At 11 or 12, that's horrifying.
Yeah. And other games where she'd blindfold him and just leave him in a silent room for hours. 5 days into this horrible stay, Ayano went to her part-time job, locked the doors, windows too high to climb out of. Rita's stuck in the living room just watching TV. And then comes the reveal. He sees a news report flash across the screen, a missing child report. And the picture. It's him. He's the missing child. Before he could even process the number to call, the TV just clicks off. Mysteriously. He turns around. Ayano is standing right behind him, holding the remote. Rita just freaked out, screaming, crying. Ayano tried to hold him, but he managed to wiggle free, ran to a window, somehow got it open, and just screamed for help. And incredibly, miraculously, a couple walking by actually heard him. They called the police. Within the hour, officers arrived. They found Rita locked in Ayano's bedroom, blindfolded, hands tied. Because Ayano was a minor, Rita never found out exactly what happened to her legally. Just remembers the police taking her away while his mother held him. He moved to Australia later, hasn't seen her since. But even now, just hearing her name, he visibly cowers. It left a permanent mark. All right, shifting gears slightly. This next one might make you reconsider those late night walks. It's called The Smiling Man in the City. Happened about 5 years ago, major U.S. city. The narrator was a night owl, loved his long, solitary walks, usually between 1 and 2 a.m. Did this for 4 years, totally without incident, until one Wednesday morning. He's walking near a park, one that police patrol, so it felt relatively safe. Quiet night, almost no one around. He turns down this short side street, and at the far end, he sees a silhouette. A man. Dancing. Yeah, a really peculiar dance, almost like a waltz, but with a strange forward stride at the end of each step, sort of dance walking, and he's coming straight towards the narrator. As he gets closer, the narrator notices how graceful yet really unsettling the movement is. Tall guy, lanky, wearing an old suit, close enough now to see his face, and his eyes are wide, wild-looking. Head tilted back slightly, looking up at the sky, and his mouth stretched into this painfully wide cartoon of a smile. That combination, the look, the smile, the dance, it was enough. Narrator decides, okay, time to cross the street now.
That incongruity is just chilling. The late hour, the weird movement, that terrifying fixed smile. Yeah. It really taps into some kind of primal fear, doesn't it? Something deeply wrong in an ordinary setting.
Exactly. So the narrator gets to the other side of the street, looks back, and freezes. The man stopped dancing. He's standing there, 1 foot in the street, perfectly parallel to the narrator, still facing him, but still looking skyward, still with that same impossibly wide smile. Narrator's completely unnerved now. Starts walking again, fast, but keeps his eyes on the man. Puts about half a block between them, looks away for just a second, literally a second. Looks back, the man's gone. Brief moment of relief. Huge relief, actually. But then he sees him again. The man had crossed the street. Now he's slightly crouched down, definitely facing the narrator. He'd looked away for maybe 10 seconds, max, which means this guy moved fast, incredibly fast. He just stands there, shocked, staring. Then the man starts moving towards him again, taking these giant, exaggerated, tiptoed steps like cartoon character sneaking up on someone.
That's horrifying imagery.
But moving with terrifying speed. The narrator admits he didn't run, didn't grab his pepper spray, didn't get his phone out, just stood there, completely frozen. As the smiling man crept closer, he stops again, about a car length away. Still smiling, that awful smile, still looking at the sky. Narrator finally manages to make a sound, but it's just this whimper, like, what the F?
You can almost hear the fear.
Totally. He said he could hear it in his own voice, but the man, no reaction, just stands there, smiling. Then, after what felt like forever, he turns around, very slowly, starts dance walking away again. Just like before, narrator doesn't want to turn his back on him, just watches him go until he's almost out of sight down the street. And that's when the horror hits him again. He realizes the man isn't moving away anymore. He's not dancing. The shape, the distant silhouette, it's getting bigger. He's coming back. And this time, he's running, flat out running towards him. Narrator finally breaks free, runs as fast as he can, gets off that side street, back onto a better lit road with a few cars, looks behind him. The man's vanished, gone. He lived in that city for 6 more months after that night. Never went for another walk at night. Ever. Said something about that face, that completely and utterly insane smile. It just haunted him. Okay, let's move down under for this next one. A chilling story called The Cleaning Lady in the Photos.
Mid-80s Australia. The narrator's mother worked as a cleaner. Suburbs, sometimes rural areas. One day she gets a call. An older woman, sounded wealthy, wanted her old farmhouse cleaned. But the client had some odd demands. Said she wouldn't meet the mother in person, just leave the keys under the front doormat. That was it. But she offered significantly more pay, so the mother agreed.
That's immediately a bit strange. The secrecy, the avoidance of contact. Right. So Monday morning, the mother drives out there. She remembered feeling unnerved right away. Long driveway, house just sitting there isolated, middle of the huge empty property. Felt exposed. Found the keys, went inside, started cleaning. About an hour in, she hears it. The back door shuts. She'd been explicitly told no one would be there. Immediate wave of unease, just cold dread. Stood frozen in the kitchen for several minutes, she said, listening. No other car on the property, nothing. She desperately wanted to leave, just bolt. But she still had 2 bedrooms left to clean. Time passed, she heard nothing else. Tried to rationalize it, maybe the wind, maybe something just fell.
It's a peculiar scenario. A wealthy client wanting privacy, avoiding interaction.
Yeah.
Yet possibly someone else is there.
Yeah.
That calculated ambiguity really ramps up the tension, doesn't it? Sets the stage.
It really does. So she musters her courage, walks up the hallway, steps into one of the last bedrooms, and that's when she saw them. Black and white photos, just all over the bed. As she got closer, the horrifying realization just hit her, like a physical blow. The photos, they were all of her.
Oh my God. No.
Yes. Some taken at her family home, others at different houses she cleaned, some clearly taken through windows, others over fences, stalking photos. She immediately used the house phone, called the police, then ran out, drove frantically to the end of that long driveway to wait for them. The client, the older lady, was investigated. She just kept claiming it was a break-in. Someone else did it. After a while, the police seemed to drop it. 4 months later, the narrator's family moved. New town, forever impacted by that violation, that feeling of being watched. This next one, it's pretty much every apartment dweller's worst nightmare. The man under the bed happened about a year and a half ago. A 22-year-old just moved into his first apartment. The front door locked automatically when it closed. A little bit of security, he thought. So one day, he's on the phone with a friend, walks down to the complex entrance to get his mail, comes back up, back into his apartment, sits on his bed, still chatting, opening the mail, and he drops his phone, slides right under the bed. Annoying, right? Had to lie down on the floor, stretch to reach it. As he's stretching under there, his eyes adjust to the dimness and he sees something. Sees someone under his bed.
Oh no, just the absolute worst place.
He said he choked back a scream. Just barely. The person was lying perfectly still, back towards him, head tucked down to their chest so he couldn't see a face. Crucially, in that split second, the intruder didn't see him look.
The sheer terror of that. Finding someone already inside your most personal space, hidden, waiting. It's more than a break-in. It's an insidious presence that just shatters your sense of safety.
Absolutely chilling. But the narrator, incredible quick thinking. He tried to stay calm, sound rational, picked up his phone, apologized to his friend on the line, said calmly, "Hey, sorry, drop my phone. Look, I'm going to jump in the shower real quick. I'll call you right back." The bathroom door was right next to the bed. He just walked in, hastily, quietly locked the door behind him, turned the shower on full blast, hoping to mask any sound. Then he didn't get in the shower. He opened the bathroom window and jumped out.
Smart move. Very smart.
Immediately called the police, told them what happened, meet him across the street. He hid behind a car, just watching. Watching his open bathroom window, watching his front door. His friend actually arrived just before the cops did. He gave the police his keys. They went inside. Moments later, 2 officers come out, escorting this thin, tired-looking man. His eyes look wild, kind of crazy, but he didn't resist. One of the officers came over, talked to the narrator, told him the man had been standing right outside the locked bathroom door, waiting, holding one of the narrator's own kitchen knives.
Waiting for him to come out of the shower. Wow.
Yeah. Apparently, the guy, who turned out to be homeless, had just snuck in when the narrator went to get his mail, slipped in behind him, hid under the bed. He was later placed in a mental hospital. But the narrator knows. His quick thinking saved his life that day. No question. Okay, next we head to an isolated mobile home, middle of a snowstorm. The man in the vendetta mask. Narrator's 21. He and his girlfriend are staying in his family's vacation place, Poconos, surrounded by deep woods, nothing else around. And the front door lock is broken. His grandpa had just barricaded it shut with cinder blocks. That was their security. So they're watching late night TV, snowstorm raging outside. Girlfriend starts shaking him, says she hears something outside, tries to brush it off, it's just an animal, wind. But then maybe 5 minutes later, she looks at him again, wide-eyed.
And he hears it too.
He hears it too. They mute the TV, listen carefully. Distinctly sounds like someone messing around in the little one-mower shed right outside. His car's parked out front. Lights were on inside the mobile home, so whoever's out there knows they're home. Girlfriend wants him to go check. He's like, absolutely not. Cautiously refuses. The sound stops. Just the howling wind now. After a few minutes, feels a bit safer. Turns off the inside lights, carefully opens the blinds, takes a quick peek outside. Too dark to see much. Turns on the porch light and sees them clear as day in the fresh snow. Shoe prints. Definitely human. leading towards the backyard.
That immediate shift from maybe it's nothing to definite confirmation.
Yeah.
In that isolation,
Yeah.
the fear must spike instantly.
Absolutely. And that spike was about to go through the roof. He goes to the backyard window, opens the curtains. He said he felt the urge to scream, but his girlfriend beat him to it, let out a blood-curdling scream, because standing right there, facing the window, even with no lights on back there, was a man, dressed entirely in black, wearing a vendetta mask.
It's just standing there,
Yeah.
facing them.
Yeah. He slams the blinds shut, tells his girlfriend, hide! Bedroom, now. Grabs his grandpa's hunting rifle from the closet, pushes the cinder blocks tighter against the door, piles up other heavy stuff too, barricades it completely, shuts all the blinds, turns off all the lights, huddles with his girlfriend in the corner of the bedroom, rifle ready. Then, bang! Loud bang on the front door.
He's trying to get in.
Trying to bust it open. Narrator doesn't think he even tried the knob, just went straight to force. Didn't matter with the barricade, though. After a few more terrifying bangs, loud attempts, it seems the man gave up. Silence again, apart from the storm. Narrator stayed up all night, rifle by his side. Girlfriend slept fitfully, terrified. Packed up, left first thing in the morning, didn't even wait. Saw a fresh set of footprints leading from that backyard window off into the woods. His grandparents checked later. No sign of forced entry, nothing missing, nothing disturbed. But the narrator, he's never gone back to that mobile home, not once. This next one hits close to home, literally. Grandma's house intruder. Narrator had this daily routine. Walk down the block to his grandma's house, help her with chores. One day, walks over usual time, lets himself in, immediately notices something's wrong. The front door isn't locked. Highly unusual. His grandma was, in his words, a very paranoid old lady. Always locked everything. Meticulously. Sees her bedroom door upstairs is open, hears noises from up there. Distinct sounds, drawers opening, cabinets closing. He walks upstairs, calls out, Grandma! Gets about 5 feet from her bedroom door.
Oh.
And slam.
Yeah.
It slams shut right in front of him. He knocks gently, asks, Grandma, everything all right in there?
That must be such a conflicting moment. Familiar sounds, but the context is all wrong. The unlocked door, the slam, that cognitive dissonance creates immediate dread. Something isn't right.
Exactly. And then came the twist that just iced his blood. At that exact moment, his cell phone rings. He looks down. It's his grandma's number calling him.
Well, he's hearing someone in her room.
Yes. Utterly confused, he answers it. It is his grandma on the other end. And she's telling him, clear as day, not to come over today because she's walking to her seniors club meeting right now. His heart just skipped a beat, he said. He hung up immediately, didn't say anything more to her. Silent. Knew instantly what was happening. Someone else was in that room. But with incredible presence of mind, he plays dumb, calls out towards the closed door. Okay, Grandma, I'll just be downstairs. Then immediately, quietly, goes downstairs to his grandma's kitchen, grabs a big knife, dials 911.
Wow. Kept his cool under immense pressure.
Unbelievably cool. Silence from the bedroom upstairs after that. Police arrive really quickly. Burst into the bedroom. Narrator hears a loud bang. A gunshot. Catches him completely off guard. Paramedics arrive soon after. Wheel out the intruder on a stretcher, and the narrator recognizes his face. It was his grandma's next-door neighbor. The neighbor apparently saw Grandma leave, broke in looking for jewelry. When the police burst in, they found him hiding right next to the door, holding a large knife, ready. The narrator's chilling final thought on it, something that haunts him. If I had walked into that bedroom, I would have been as good as dead. Imagine this. You come home from dinner, pull into your driveway, and your front door is wide open. That's the start of our next story. The closet intruder. Narrator and his wife see the door ajar as soon as they get out of the car. Narrator tells his wife, wait here, outside. Runs inside, straight to the bedroom, grabs his shotgun, keeps it there, loads it, then meticulously clears every single room upstairs. Nothing. Nobody. Makes his way downstairs, clears the main floor, checks the basement, still nothing. Doesn't look like anything's missing, nothing seems moved or disturbed.
But the door was open. That's the undeniable fact.
Exactly. He calls the police. They arrive, he explains. They search again, find nothing. They keep asking, are you sure you locked the door? Are you positive you shut it properly? Narrator starts to doubt himself a little. Was he sure? But his wife, adamant. She knew they shut it. Police kind of conclude, well, if someone did get in, they must have left quickly. No sign of burglary. His wife is distraught, though, crying. Doesn't feel safe in her own home now. He tries to comfort her. Look, whoever it was, they're long gone.
That psychological toll is immense, isn't it? Even before anything else happens. The doubt, the fear, the violation of your safe space, even with a police sweep, that unease lingers.
It absolutely does. So hours later, they're finally in bed, tossing and turning. Narrator drifts off into a restless sleep, abruptly woken by his wife screaming, a blood-curdling scream. He looks at her. She's just staring intently at the closet. And it hits him then, he said, like a bullet. He forgot. He cleared the whole house, but forgot. There were 2 closets in their bedroom. He didn't check the second one. He looks over at that second closet, and just for the briefest second, sees a man's head poke out. Then quickly ducked back in, closing the door again. Took him maybe 5 seconds. Shotguns in his hands, loaded, cocks it back. Loud click echoes in the room, lets the guy know he's armed, screams at the top of his lungs, "Get out! Come out now! Get." And just like that, the closet door opens. But the guy doesn't surrender, doesn't put his hands up. He makes a mad dash straight for the front door, runs right past them. Narrator said, "I could have shot him easily, but I just didn't have it in me. Couldn't pull the trigger. The man got away, never caught, just vanished into the night." But the narrator is absolutely convinced having that gun saved them both from a truly terrible fate that night. All right, this next one involves something. Lurking. Hiding in plain sight almost. Eyes in the vent. Deer. Happened about a year ago. Narrator's 26, living at his parents' place at the time. Started experiencing some really weird things, specifically in his bedroom. First night, lying awake late. Hears this creaking sound from across the room, looks over. His closet door had somehow opened on its own. Gets up, checks inside. Subconsciously looking for someone, he admits, even at 26. Nobody there, obviously. Shuts it firmly, goes back to bed. Later that same night, hears these rumbly, rattling noises coming from above, like in the ceiling. Sounded like something moving in the air ducts. Very strange. Soon as it stopped, he kind of dismissed it, fell asleep.
Easy to rationalize noises at first. House settling. Pipes.
Exactly. Next morning, mentions the attic sounds to his dad. Dad doesn't seem too interested, brushes it off. That night, same thing. Lying awake, slow creak. Closet door opens again. This time, he feels genuinely scared. He knows he's shut that door completely. You have to twist the doorknob to open it. Takes an extra careful look inside. Small closet, nowhere really to hide. Tries to rationalize, maybe the latch is broken. And later that night, again, those rattling sounds from the ceiling. Exactly like the night before. Next morning, he convinces his dad to actually look at the closet door. Dad checks it, closes it firmly, says it seems fine, suggests the narrator's just leaving it unlatched, which he knows he isn't doing.
That repetition, combined with the dismissal, it really isolates you, makes you question your own sanity when you know something weird is happening.
Yeah. Totally. So the third night, he doesn't try to sleep. He sits up in bed, waiting, right on cue. The closet door creaks open. He waits, expecting the rattling sounds from the ceiling next, but nothing. Just heavy silence. He reaches over, turns on his bedside lamp, looks up at the air vent cover in his ceiling. And here's where it gets absolutely terrifying. He says he screamed at the top of his lungs because looking down at him, he could distinctly see 2 wide open eyes peering through the vents.
Oh, God. Just watching.
Eyes watching him from the vent. His parents burst into the room. "What's wrong? Have you gone insane?" He tries to explain everything. The closet, the sounds, the eyes. They just look at each other like he's lost his mind. Tell him it must have been a dream, he's too tired. Lecture him about staying up late. Total dismissal. But to this day, the narrator knows he didn't imagine it. It felt too real. The closet door opening routinely. And those eyes. He says he's still not a believer in the paranormal, ghosts, or anything. But he has absolutely no other explanation for those 3 nights. None. Okay, our final story tonight takes us back outside. Into the natural world, but with a horrifying twist. The lake creature. Narrator lives in the Poconos. Wife, 2 young kids. There's a small lake, maybe a 1/4 mile from their backyard. He often takes the kids down there swimming. So one Saturday, he, his wife, their kids 6 and 8 years old, go down to the lake, set up chairs on this little spot that felt like their own private beach, relaxing for a couple of hours. Sun's out. Kids are splashing in the water. Eventually, his wife gets tired, decides to walk back to the house. He agrees to stay with the kids a bit longer. Sun's starting to set now. Notices the kids have wandered out a bit too deep. Calls them back closer to shore. They don't hear him. So he stands up, walks closer to the water's edge. Before he can call again, he sees something in the water. Looks like a black, roundish object. That's right. And it's moving, distinctly moving, closer to his children.
Oh, that protective instinct must kick in immediately.
Instantly. He runs into the water, urgently yelling for them to come out. Now, when they get close enough, he practically drags them out onto the shore, turns back to look at the water. The object, gone, vanished. Kids are confused, asking why. He just says, time to go home. Packs up quickly, walks back to the house, but he's deeply uncomfortable. What was that thing? Didn't look like any animal he knew. At dinner, he's quiet, can't stop thinking about it, decides not to tell his wife, doesn't want to worry her, maybe sounds crazy.
That lingering unease. The unknown in a familiar place, especially one associated with family fun, it's incredibly unsettling.
And what's truly terrifying is how that unease festers. Later that night, after dark, he can't shake it. Takes a flashlight, walks back down to the lake by himself. Doesn't even know what he expects to find. Shines the flashlight beam across the surface of the water, searching for that black object, and just then he hears it. A large splash, somewhere out in the lake. He described it as the kind of splash of something emerging out of the water, big. Thinks, okay, maybe just a large fish, an animal. Shines the light frantically, trying to find the source of the sound. And then he finds it. And in that instant, he said, he realized I was dead wrong. It wasn't an animal he saw, a silhouette of a humanoid figure. Humanoid shape. With long black hair completely covering its face, just standing there in the water, facing him. Not staring, he said, or at least he couldn't tell because of the hair, just standing there, facing his direction. He drops the flashlight, pure horror, turns and sprints all the way back up to his house, slams the door shut, locks it, hasn't told anybody about this, not his wife, not anyone, fears they'll think he's crazy. But what truly kills him, what haunts him now, is that lake is only a quarter mile away. And for all he knows, he said, that thing could be watching me through my window right now. Oh, wow. That was quite a journey through the heart of fear, wasn't it? These stories, each one is like this little window into a moment where the ordinary just completely shattered into something terrifying. They really remind us how vulnerable we can be to the unknown, yes, but also sometimes just to the chilling capacity for human malice.
It's truly striking how these experiences, whether it's just a fleeting glimpse of something wrong or a prolonged, harrowing ordeal like some of these, they leave such an indelible mark. They absolutely shape lives, change perspectives, long, long after the immediate danger seems to have passed. They challenge our deepest sense of security. In our homes, the places we feel safest, even in the natural spaces we think we know and cherish.
So maybe consider this as we wrap up. In your own home, just going about your everyday life, what subtle shift, what strange sound you might usually ignore, or some unexpected reflection. Might that be the first whisper of a story that hasn't fully unfolded yet? Something waiting in the shadows. If these tales sent a few shivers down your spine and you want to explore more chilling narratives like these, then you should definitely visit Horror Docs. They have so much more spine-tingling content over there. Please like this, share it if you know someone who appreciates these kinds of stories, and subscribe to their channel to stay updated with all their latest horrifying finds. Thank you so much for joining us on this chilling deep dive. Until next time, please stay safe. And keep your eyes peeled. You never know what you might see.